Hello and welcome to another review. In this one we'll be looking at the World War II weapon pack. Now I have the individual ones and not this pack specifically, but I wanted to do a review of all of them together. These are the names of the guns because of copyright issues about real weapons. Some of the names have been changed. These are the prices. I mean the pack itself costs $30. Which I do think is overpriced for a single weapon, and also the revolver type hasn't been added yet. Going to the custom overview level that I made and getting closer look at the weapon, I think it's a bit glossy and the barrel is not doesn't have rifling, and the scope here has issue. The elevated notch is blocking the view. For the scopes, it's just a single material. There is no translucent part. This one also does not have rifling on the barrels as well. There's no grooves. Pistol. And this is like the revolver type. This one does have rifling on the barrels. You can see the grooves. That's about the only one that I've seen. And this one has error on the barrel. When you look through it, it's blocked and some parts are not visible. You have to tick the two-sided in the material slot. The scope on this one does work, and that's like a custom scope on the right side. The scopes on this one does have extra material slot for translucency, and this one is like part grooved. This STG 44 clone. So I'm looking at the aim down sight. I think about that one was the only one, that Owen gun, with a problem. Going to the lightning only view mode and looking at the collisions. The collisions seems fine on most parts. There are a few details on the mesh, on like modeled on the mesh. This one has okay modeling. Looking at the animations, I'm gonna play it at normal speed. There are only a few animations included for each of the weapons. I think it's about 3 or 4 average. Also, I think the magazine placement was wrong for this weapon. No, I'm pretty sure about it. It was placed wrong. And this is the animation for the Web 44. So only a few, like empty magazine. Um, the charging bolts are not rigged for this and the machine gun. We're gonna get into that later. One thing, yeah, you can see that the ejector there is not does not move, and that goes along with the charging bolt not being rigged. This one has the bolt is rigged. Yeah, but the inside is like wooden, so the inside hasn't haven't been modeled well. This one, you can see that the slide lock does not move because it's not rigged. It should be rotating there, so it prevents it or keeps it retracted. There was another error about it. I'm gonna get into that right after this one. This one's like empty magazine. This one also thankfully have the charging bolt rigged. So speaking of this pistol or the Stair M1912, going to the slow mode, we can see that the hammer, before it hits it, it's like before it hits the firing pin, the light gets retracted. That shouldn't happen. And looking at the blueprint, it has some customization. You can change to color and select the color, change it, or you can select the texture. You can change whatever texture you want. You can also select the material. For some reason these do not work. These some scale settings. You can change the side or the stock if the weapon has it. Same goes for the other weapons. So let's look at the mesh. It doesn't have LOD. There are about 15,000 vertices. Only the trigger is rigged. The magazine placement is kind of wrong. At least use one material. The UVs are really well packed. The same or similar symmetrical parts are not overlapped or are not reused. As for Webley revolver, it has about 12,000 vertices, and these are the rigged parts. There are no LODs. And the own gun also no LODs, about 6,000 vertices. Only the trigger is rigged. The pack-in is very good. Similar parts are not reused. Same goes for this revolver. And they're all one material slot for the weapons. This one does have the slider, but like I said, the inside is like wooden, so it's more of a toy than a gun. The same or similar parts are not reused. These are the rigged parts. And surprisingly, this one has overlapped or similar parts, similar parts on the same UV space. Looking at the dimensions of the textures, we got why is it the STG texture here? Wait, let me make sure. Yes, there are some other. Why are they included here? I think I'm not gonna do this texture part, but just checking. Even for the other weapons, it does have the STG44, or here it's called Stir 550 textures included, except for the brand that doesn't have it. All the other ones include those textures. That's just extra space. It's not needed. Looking at the texture parameter or material instance of the guns, we can use textures in skin. When you click that boolean, a skin mask texture appears. You can choose it. And you can choose any texture you want, and those that are white on the gun will change color according to the skin texture. The other parts will stay the same. If you want to change the ORM and normal, you click the material and skin, and you can also just change the color by value. You can also use the animating skin. You can change the temperature. Basically, these affect the like the contrast and the emissive intensity. You can also change the colors, and you can also add a secondary layer beside that one. You can also control the rotation, the speed and the x and y axis of the UV space, and there is like distortion and offset. This is the parameter for the glass. This is the one we just looked at it, and this is the master material of it. Overall, the modeling is good, the texturing is just excellent, the UV pattern is also excellent. Then on the downsides, we got the barrels they're not grooved for most of them, 5 out of 6. The STG textures are also included with the other weapons. There shouldn't be a problem in the pack when you get it, but when you buy like individually when you get it, yeah, that's just extra space. It should be removed. The UVs are not reused. I can kind of get it because of the quality that they were going for. And for the downside of the weapons individually, I would say for the SDG 44, the sight and ejector were not rigged. As for the Bren, you have to set the stock and the gun material to two-sided, so you don't see the invisible part. The barrel is blocked. The bipod carry handle, the magazine dust cover, the charging handle, and the side dial, they're not rigged. The magazine placement is wrong, and there is no place to eject the bullets. As for the MAS 44, the inside chamber is not modeled, just wooden part. And as for the M1912, the slide lock is not rigged. The firing animation, as I showed, the slider retracts before the hammer hits the firing pin. And for the Owen, the aim downside, when you see it, or the iron side, sorry, there is like that elevated notch that blocks the view. That's not necessary because the other part is at the end of the at the end of the barrel of the gun, and there is no secondary grip included with it. I mean, if you look at the picture for the Owen gun, they do have like a extra grip at the front, and the ejector for the charging handle and the select fire are not rigged. Yeah, I think the one that you select the firing modes, they're not rigged for any of the weapons that do have it. As for the Webley revolver, the barrel is grooved. That was like the only one with it, and it's worth mentioning that it does. The lanyard ring is not rigged, and the scope, actually this goes for most of them except for the Bren, does not have a translucent material slot. And that should be it. Hope you enjoyed.